Well, I can't find any of these fuel pipes anywhere online. I've checked eBay, and don't forget this happened over the weekend. So Jimmy phoned up his mate who works in the breakers yard, and he was going to try and get me one off of an old Vectra C they got there. But with that end that was stuck in there, I looked in the comment section, and you come up with some clever ideas, you folks. This is what happened. A couple of people said put a screw in there and pull it out, it should come out nice and easy. And then someone else said try a tap in there. A tap's got a lot coarser threads on there. And I actually tried that, and I was pulling away with the tap. Let me show you how I've done it. I've actually got it out. So I'd put the tap in there like that, tighten it up. First of all, I had it on there first of all, and I was pulling it with my hand like that, and I pulled, and of course I've cut my thumb and I, so next time I tried it, wound the tap in again. It was quite difficult because this bit inside was actually spinning, and I've had to sort of quickly jerk the tap to get it to bite into that end bit which flares in, which was right in there. I'm not going to push this back on again. And then I wrapped it over with cloth, and woof, after about 3 good pulls, I managed to get it off. And you wouldn't believe that, as I say, the pressure I've had to put on that, but here it is on the end of the tap. And can you see how corroded that is? Look. And where it had actually broken off, and I just managed to get a bite on the end of the where it flares over there. So that's the actual end out now. So I'm hoping that this is going to be okay. It's going to be worth me putting this in and giving it a go anyway. So I'm going to be doing that. Right, folks, I'm out at the car. I've actually pushed the fuel filter on while I'm outside of the car, because I think it might be just a bit awkward underneath, and also I can see exactly what's happening here around it, and it's actually gone in perfectly. I don't know if you can see that at all. So I'm going to leave this on there now, and I'm going to try and feed this up through into the tank without actually having to drop the tank. I know I can drop the tank down on one side. I've seen the 2 fixing screws for that. I'm just going to try and get it in now the way I got it out. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. Right, okay. Let's have a little look under here. Now, I've got to try and see where I can come up, or where it comes up. You can see that? Yeah. You can't, there's no way you can get it though, is there? Why do I need to be feeding it? Oh, I see, all right, okay.
You see the light?
Yeah. There should be that cord. I don't think it's going to be long enough though, is it?
What, the yellow part?
Yeah. Can you try and shove that down there now? Oh, see that torch? Stay there. I might stay where it is. If I get the pliers. Right, folks. I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually got the end of the flexible torch there. So if I can tie this pipe onto the end of that with some tape, bear with me, we might be good to go. So if I pull that out, I've got to tie this on so it don't come off. I'm hoping that's going to be all right. Right, start pulling gently. Go on, Nick. Keep going. Keep going. There's a clip there, mind that clip.
Come in. Come in. There.
Oh, it's there.
There.
How about that? Oh, well, that's it. Right, folks, it's in. I've just got to get that in there now. Bear with me. Right, we're all back in now. I've connected the pipe onto the fuel tank. I've connected both pipes onto the fuel filter. The fuel filter's going the right way, so I'm just going to turn the ignition on now. And before we go any further, I'm going to check for leaks. Where'd I put the keys? Right, well, you can do that for me. Put the keys in the ignition. First of all, I'll check the back seat just to make sure. You've only got to put the ignition on, I think. Look for any leaks here. Ignition on?
Yep.
Right, well, I can't see any leaks there at the moment. Let me have a look underneath. Let's just check if it's dry. Right, dry. Dry both sides. Right, go on then, try and start her. It's out of gear, isn't it? Try and start her up. Right, we'll just let that flow for a minute, because obviously the fuel filter will be empty, so I know it's got a return, but so far I can't see any leaks. We'll just let that tick over for a bit. Let's check inside again. So that again is our flow out. There's a return there, so I'm hoping any air should be purged out of the system. There's definitely no leaks there. Give it a bit of a rev. Absolutely no leaks whatsoever. I think we can say we've got away with it. So what I can do now is just clip that hose, that pipe back into there, and we can call this job a good one, I think. Happy days. So there we go. I've had a little ponder, and checking the comment section obviously pays dividends. This wasn't as rare a situation as I thought, because other people in the comment section have also said that they've had a similar issue, and they left information down there with regards to putting in possibly a bolt. I did try a bolt in there, but the threads were too smooth and I didn't have the right size bolt. But a tap was the way to go, and I actually pushed it, not gripping on the first locks, it was just spinning. Getting that little bit inside, because it flares over, and I managed to get the sharp edges of a tap just to bite one tooth into that, and with a good yank, and I mean a good few yanks actually, it pulled it right out. And obviously it's sealing correctly, so I'm well happy with that. So well done in the comment section there. You got me out of a little pickle. This did happen over a weekend, and as some of you also said, a 5-minute job can turn into a 5-hour job. And if you were doing it for a customer where time is money, they wouldn't believe you with that sort of problem. But lucky enough, we've documented it, and obviously you've seen how we've got over it with the help of the comment section. Well done, folks. So I'm just going to put this all back in now, and we might have a little go at that headlining. See you in a minute. Right, it's another day yet again. It's still cold, but it's pretty mild now compared to what it's been like. And I'm going to tackle now the headlining, or have a go at it anyway. And what I've got there is this. It's just some basic trim fix adhesive there. It's for vehicle interior trims, as you can see. Headlinings and carpets, and all I've actually done is I've got a hypodermic needle, glued it onto the original tip there, because I want to be able to pierce headlining without making any cuts or whatever in it, and hopefully this will be sort of invisible, and then squirt this in the headlining, let it go tacky, and then hold it up. So you've really got to coat both sides with this, I think. So we're going to have to sort of move the needle about up and down so it coats both sides. I don't know how it's going to work. I've never done this before. I've seen people do it, but let's give it a go anyway. Right, okay, folks, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see. So I'll just get into the front first of all, and I hope you can see how saggy this really is. Let me turn this chair back a bit, lower the seat, because I want to be able to lay back a bit, I think. Again, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but that's a bit better. So as you can see, it's really saggy all the way over to the back there, but I'm going to just try and concentrate, maybe try a little bit here at the front first of all. So I'm just going to get my needle in, give it a bit of a shake up. I don't even know if this nozzle comes out, so let's just have a go. Oh, it does come out, it comes out pretty fast and all. So, right, it pierces in there quite well. Right, I've just squirted it up there, and see, I think if you stick it up now, you just want to just touch it up, and it goes a bit tacky. It's got to coat both surfaces, you see, so if you do it when it's wet, I'm hoping that's going to let it go off and go tacky. I might try and do a bit here as well, if I come in from this sort of angle. Oh look, it's coming through there, look, never a good thing, is it? And just push it up. If it comes down, it comes down. Oh, look at that, look, oh God. I didn't want that, did I? We'll see. It does go tacky, as I said to you. Right, let's try and push it up then. I don't know how far it's gone. We can always go over it again afterwards in bits, can't we, I suppose? Well, bits of it have stuck up. And I think it's just a matter of going in and going from different angles, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a perfect job, this, to be honest with you. I mean, if the worst that can happen, it's got to come out and you just get new lining for it. So it's not the end of the world, so to speak. If it doesn't work, you know. I don't hold out much hope for this because it's come through, as I said to you. So I don't think it's going to be very good. No, I don't think it's going to be good at all. No, I'm going to give that the aborted mission. It's better than it was in places, but in general, it's not very good. I think it'll be a new headline, to be honest with you. I think I've safely called this a fail. Yeah, it's definitely a fail. I'm not even going to go any more with that. It's just a waste of time. I think you'll agree that it looks a right mess, to be honest with you. So there's no way you can do that as a proper job. You'd have to take the headlining completely out. It's one big plastic sheet, get a new one and re-put it in. So that looks like the only way to really do that job. It was worth trying this, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's just going to make a mess of your headline, especially this porous type one. So we'll call that a no-no. Right, that was a fail. I'm just going to put some screen wash in her car. That's come up on the dashboard that's low. And that goes in here. So we'll just get this ready mixed screen wash put in a mixing bottle there. Now I'm going to try and pour this without a funnel. Let's see how we go. Try and get this going in there. Hopefully don't get it all over the blinking floor. How about that? You notice I'm holding the bottle on the side. That way you don't get any glugging. If you pour it with the bottle the other way around, it'll glug all over the place and pour all over the place. So just something to be aware of. This is pre-mixed, this stuff anyway, so there we go. Right, so that's that. And while I'm under the bonnet, if you saw my part one to this video, you'd also noticed that we'd had a lot of water collecting in the exhaust. That wasn't by me, I didn't notice that. That was from the exhaust company that refitted the exhaust after we had a problem with the previous exhaust with the noisy baffles in the back. And they said there was a hell of a lot of water in there in such a short space of time, and they questioned that possibly the head gasket might have gone. I don't think it is the head gasket, but it's not losing fluid at all. Although I say that is a little bit lower fluid, but we haven't checked it for a while. But I'm going to do a head gasket check by using a little tool which I'm going to show you now. It's like a vacuum bottle, and you put some chemical in it, start the car up, and you then see if there's any exhaust gases in the water system vent. And if it is, the blue fluid which we put in it will turn to yellow. So let me go and get that and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so the engine is quite warm, so I'm just going to remove the cap to the cooling system. And I've got this vessel here, which is basically like a test tube, suppose, with a rubber bung on it. And you've got a fluid level there, as you can probably see. So I'm just going to push that into there, and that will create a seal around the bottle. And then I'm going to get this, what you call test fluid here, combustion or leak test fluid. Should be blue, which this one obviously is. And then fill it up to that line. So we just put the fluid in there. This is the test fluid. Up to that line. Make sure you put the cap back onto this. And then we've got a rubber cap that sits on top of the little glass vessel we've got there. Again, this is all to create the seal. And then you've got this valve, which is basically like a little pump bottle there. You put that end in the top of the bung on top of that thing, and as you can see, it's got a one-way valve on the top there. It sucks up air out of this, and if there's any combustion fumes in there, it will change that fluid from blue to yellow. So let me start the engine up. Right, so that's the engine started up. So you basically get it up to temperature, which this is nearly up to temperature anyway, and you just suck the fluid and the air that comes out of the expansion bottle. If it's got any exhaust gases in it, that will change colour. So I'm going to give it a few little tests and then we'll have a look at this in about 5 minutes time. So just to show you, this is an old bottle of fluid I've got, which I'd have. It's got a shelf life of about 2 years. I've only used a little drop out of it. That's when I checked the Triumph for claim, a good few years ago now. So it does go off, this stuff. It should be blue in colour, as you can probably see there. So it does go off. So if I take this out now, as you can see, look, so it stayed blue. If it was a head gasket gone, that would be a yellow colour just like that. So right, so I'm just going to top her antifreeze up now and the coolant level up to the level. I'm going to check the oil while I'm here as well. I'm going to be due for an oil change on this very, very soon, although the engine oil looks pretty clean still. Actually, it's done about 7,000 miles, this engine oil, so it is due to have a change very shortly. And it never burns any oil, this, and as you can probably see there, it's right up to the top level, and that's where it stayed since the last oil change, which denotes it's got a good engine. Right, okay then, I'm going to leave that here now. Just top that up, you ain't got to see that. So as far as putting that roof lining up with adhesive and a hypodermic needle, just to show you can get it in there without actually taking anything down. Definitely on that type of cloth anyway, it's definitely a no-no. It does soak through in places and it's pulled too tight. So the only way to do that correctly is to take the headlining out and recover it on the big flat workbench and doing it that way. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do in this video. Hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to check out my other channel, which is, you know, Retro Hacks and Butler's Empire. Hit the subscribe button there and ring that little notification bell and set your preferences to all. That way you get notified every time I upload a video. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.